Awesome. So what do your friends and family think of, being a professional gamer?
They're pretty supportive of me. A lot of my friends are pretty impressed by what I do. I really wish though I could like bring it to the next level and be like professional full time. But I'm also a college student at University of Central Florida, so I have to take that into account as well. But generally, everyone's pretty supportive of me. People generally think that's really cool to do what I do, and it's not like I guess like 10 or 15 years ago where people think you play games on a professional level. You're some basement dwelling nerd or something.
So you said you go to college. What's your major?
I major in digital media. I'm going to be going into the visual language track hopefully next semester in the fall, and that'll involve doing 3D modeling and animation. Ultimately, I would love to work for a company like Blizzard Entertainment. I've wanted to work for them like ever since I played StarCraft. I was like, these are the guys I want to work for. They are so cool. They make the best games ever, and that still holds true to this day, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really good answer. So, more on this type of question. What were your plans before becoming, a pro gamer? Was this always your goal to, eventually, do graphical design?
Yeah. Although, like more recently, since like I mean, I've been exposed so much to the esports scene, I've really grown to love it a lot. If I could work in the esports scene full time, doing just something to help out esports in general, I think I'd be more than happy doing that as well. Um, I really would love. I share the dream of the day nine, though. One day, see esports, as big as like football in America, um, you know, or any other sport across the world, shown on national TV and stuff, and just having it being like a cultural phenomenon.
That would be awesome. So, if you could do a best of five with any player in the world, and it would be presented like the Clash of the Titans was, you know, who would it be? Who would you like to play?
I'd most likely want to play a Zerg player. As far as top Zerg player goes, it would most likely be a foreigner, not a Korean. Although I wouldn't mind playing a Korean. I think like the best Zergs right now are like Moro and Rhett. Um, so I'd probably have to pick Rhett for somebody I would love to do a best of five with. I think he's a really talented player, and if the game goes his way, he's a very very hard opponent to beat.
Awesome. So I was talking to Desro earlier today about NASL, and he said that all the VT members did their application video, excluding himself. So you applied, and do you think you'll get in?
I highly doubt it. There are so many good Koreans that applied right now. I'd say I'm top 50 in America, although top 50 in the world, probably not. I'd have to play more and maybe take this game a bit more seriously than I already do in order to achieve that level of play. But I did make an NASL video. You guys can check it out if you want. I think it's pretty funny. You can just check the NASL link on Team Liquid under the VT tab. So I mean, if I get in, cool. If not, I'm not going to be too concerned about it. There's so many other tournaments out there to be a part of. Yeah, the NASL is pretty big, but if I don't get in, it's not a huge deal to me.
Awesome. And Poke Bunny and Desro both agreed on this. They don't think they're going to make it in season one, but they think they have a pretty good chance at season two. Are you agreeing with them on this one, where you think you'll have a better chance on season two?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, we could increase in skill, but at the same time, everybody's getting better. Not just us. So, there could be even more good Koreans by that point that want to apply for the NASL, or more Koreans that know about it, which would make it even harder for us to get in. I think if it was a North American, maybe even Europe only kind of league, then I think yes, our chances would be a little bit better. But if more Koreans come, I'd still say it's going to be about the same.
Okay. Now, VTA as a clan, they do pretty well in most clan wars, but in the GCPL, you guys didn't perform well at all. What do you think the contributing factor to this was?
I think that was during a bit of weakness in our team at the time. We were going through some roster changes and stuff. We weren't at the current lineup that we are right now. I feel like right now our lineup is stronger than it's pretty much ever been, except for maybe back in the early beta when we had just insane people on our team, but no sponsors to back us up, unfortunately. But um, I think part of it definitely was our team wasn't as prepared as we should have been for that league, and we didn't have the lineup we have currently.
Okay, good answer. So, back to lands this year. You said you're going to Dallas and Which other one you said you're going
I
to?
believe it's Columbus. Not
Columbus.
100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's the next one after Dallas.
Do you plan on going to all MLGs this year?
If my schedule permits it, I would like to. But generally, I like to think only a few months in advance. These next two, I know I can commit myself to, so I'm going to. We'll have to see how school works out for me, in the fall semester. If I'm too loaded on work, I probably won't be as active and won't go for that reason. But if it's not that bad, then there's a good chance of seeing me there.
Awesome. I know for a fact that I am going to the Anaheim one, so hopefully I'll get to see you there and snag an autograph from you. But what about European tournaments such as DreamHack, IEM? Do you plan on competing in those kinds?
Unfortunately, I don't think I'm on the level to compete with those players. Obviously, I would love to. I think if I could take gaming as a full-time job, I would definitely be on the level of those players and would love to go out to those events and compete in them. But I guess the way I see it is there are two types of pro gamers. There's the ones that do it part-time and generally have a college or a full-time job, or at least a part-time job that they have to deal with. And StarCraft isn't always like the number one focus in their life, even though they may want it to be. And then there's the full-time gamers, obviously the people over in Korea, the people on Liquid, some of the people on Digitas, I think maybe even some of the Mouse people basically that can. They get paid a salary, and their main source of income is on gaming. I believe those are the two main types of people, and you can only go so far without really taking gaming as a full-time job.
Yeah. So, what do you think as a player your greatest strength is, and then your, of course, strongest weakness is?
My greatest strength, I felt early on, I felt like my decision making was really good. I still feel like my decision making is really good. I think when everything kind of goes my way and I'm in a decent position late game, I feel like my late game is really strong. I feel very confident against all races late game. If I have a proper unit composition, I have really good force fields. A lot of people have told me that. My force field control is pretty good. So I'm pretty confident in using my force fields, especially later on in the game. But early on, I can do some clutch force fields against like timing attacks and stuff. I'd say my greatest weakness is definitely like all-ins and cheese. There are a lot of times I'll lose games to players that aren't even nearly as good as me just because they all-in me or they cheese me and I'm just simply not prepared for it. And I kind of will fall apart and crumble to builds like that. And that's actually, this guy did a 7-roach rush against me at the last MLG Dallas, and he did that to me 2 games, and that's unfortunately how I kind of lost those games back then. So I'd have to say definitely cheese and all-ins are my greatest weakness.
Pretty good answer there. So you have to play against a Zerg Terran and a Protoss. You have to pick one for each. Who would you want to play?
I believe I already said Rhett for Zerg, at least for the show match. For Protoss, I would love to play Huck. I think he's a really cool player. I've played him a bit in the past. My record against him, I remember from just like custom games back from the beta, it's like 1-9. I've only beaten him one game, but it was a really epic game where I did win. Against Terran, I'd probably like to play MVP. I feel like he's a really strong player, but I think he's also a macro Terran. He doesn't like to do all-in or cheesy stuff like Rain or MVP, or not MVP, Marine King Prime. So I think MVP, I'd have a nice epic macro game with him.
Awesome. So this is our last question, of course, and it's going back to the one we asked earlier. Was who would be your rival? You still thinking on that one?
If I had a rival, that's a tough question because I think about different people in different ways. Like there's people like, I think of him as maybe a friendly rival. Like I'll have maybe a team rivalry with Az or something, but I wouldn't really want to consider him my main rival. I'd say that's more of a friendly thing, and I could say the same thing about Pokebunny as well. Actually, I would have to say though that of all the people I know, Spades is probably my main rival because we both come from Orlando, and we always have pretty epic games. And I guess he's had a bit more success than I have, although I feel like when we play each other, at least in the past, I've been able to generally beat him in, I'd say, a few more of our games, and we've had custom games. So I have to say my rival was definitely Spades.
Awesome, great answer. So That's the last of our questions. We actually kind of flew through those pretty quickly, a lot faster than the other people. So if you have anything you want to say to your fans, or anything you want to plug, or anything, go ahead and do that now.
Yeah, I would just like to thank you for this interview. I like getting interviewed. I think it's really cool when people pay attention to me when it involves StarCraft. I have a Twitter. It's Whiplash, YEAH Whiplash. So go ahead and follow me on there. I have a stream. It's justin.tv/VTWhiplash. I also like to stream on the main VT stream as well. So go ahead and check that out. I do give coaching for $30 an hour. So if any of you are interested in becoming Gosu, I do coaching. So you can contact me through the VT Gaming coaching page on our website. And of course, thanks to VT Gaming, they are a great team. I love them, and I hope we can all be really successful together. And that's it.
Awesome. So thanks again for the interview. Make sure you guys subscribe if you want to see more interviews like this. We have Root QXC coming up. We have Artosis. We have In Control. We have Frank Fields, the manager of VT Gaming. And I think VT... Forgetting one from VT coming up. VT Future, yes, VT Future, also interviewing him, and a couple more people are going to be iffy about this, but we will have more interviews, so make sure you guys subscribe to check those out, and thanks again for doing this with us, Whiplash.
No
Much
problem.
appreciated, and yeah, we'll see you guys in our next interview.